Betrayal. A word heavy with sorrow, a wound that cuts deeper than the sharpest blade. It is not the act of an enemy that shatters the soul, but the hand of a loved one turned against you. The ones who were supposed to shield you from the storms of life have become the architects of your suffering. The ones who should have spoken in your defense are the very voices that conspired against you. And the pain is unlike any other. You sit in the silence of your own thoughts, questioning how love could turn to malice, how warmth could turn so cold. Perhaps you have given everything, your trust, your devotion, your sacrifice, only to be discarded as though none of it mattered. It is a peculiar cruelty, the betrayal of family. Strangers may wound the body, but only those closest to you can wound the soul. And so the weight of disappointment settles deep within you, poisoning every memory that was once cherished. But what if I told you that this pain is not yours to carry? What if I told you that the burden of justice does not rest upon your weary shoulders? You were never meant to fight this battle alone. There is one who has seen every tear you have shed in secret, one who knows the ache behind your silent prayers. You may feel forsaken by those who should have stood by you, but you have never been forsaken by him. Do not be deceived. God is not blind to your suffering. Every injustice committed against you has been recorded. Every lie spoken against you has been heard. Every act of betrayal, every broken promise, every cruel word, they have not gone unnoticed. Though it seems as though the wicked prosper, though it appears that those who wronged you face no consequence, do not be fooled. God is not indifferent. He is not passive. The same hands that formed the universe are the same hands that hold your cause, and he will not let it go unanswered. There is a temptation in your heart to demand vengeance, to seek retribution, to make them feel the same pain they inflicted upon you. But vengeance is a weight too heavy for the human soul. It corrupts, it consumes, and in the end it leaves you no different than those who have wronged you. Do not let their betrayal turn you into something you are not. Do not let their cruelty change your nature. Hand it over. Give it to the one who judges with perfect wisdom, who repays in ways no human hand ever could. God does not operate on human timelines. His justice may seem slow, but it is never absent. The ones who betrayed you will face what they have done, not because you will make it happen, but because he will. And his justice is far greater than anything you could orchestrate. There will come a day when the scales are balanced, when every hidden deed is exposed, when every betrayal is met with divine reckoning. You do not have to chase it. It will find them. And what of you? What becomes of the one who has suffered at the hands of their own? If you place this in God's hands, you will find something remarkable: freedom. When you give the weight of your betrayal to him, it no longer defines you. You are no longer bound to the bitterness of the past. The pain that once shackled you loses its grip, and what remains is something far greater than the sorrow that tried to break you. A peace that is not of this world, a peace that no betrayal can steal. Let them carry the weight of their choices. It is not yours to bear. Release it, give it to God, and watch what he does. Betrayal by family cuts the deepest. There are wounds that time can mend, disappointments that fade with distance, and offenses that lose their sting with understanding. But betrayal, especially from the ones who share your blood, the ones you called your own, does not merely wound the skin. It does not just bruise the ego. It seeps into the very fabric of your soul, unraveling the trust you once held sacred. It is not a single act, but an earthquake that shakes everything you thought was unshakable. You gave them your love, your devotion, your unwavering belief that no matter what happened in life, these were the people who would stand with you. These were the ones who would defend you, shield you, fight for you when the world turned cruel. And yet they were the very ones who turned against you. Maybe it was a lie whispered behind your back, a betrayal of trust that exposed your vulnerabilities. Maybe it was the coldness of their rejection, their dismissal of your pain, their refusal to acknowledge the sacrifices you made. Or perhaps it was the slow realization that they never truly valued you the way you valued them. What do you do when the people you trusted the most become the ones who hurt you the most? When the hands that once held you in love now push you away in disdain? When their silence wounds you just as deeply as their words? It is a pain unlike any other. You can turn your back on a stranger, you can cut ties with a friend, but family is supposed to be different. It is supposed to be forever. And yet here you stand, bearing the weight of betrayal from the ones who should have been your strongest foundation. You replay the memories, trying to make sense of where it all went wrong. Was it something you said? Something you did? Did you love them too much? Did you expect too much in return? But deep down you know the truth. This was never about what you did or did not do. This was about them, their choices, their flaws, their inability to love you the way you deserved. And yet, the pain does not subside just because you understand it. You walk around carrying this invisible wound, one that others may not see, but one that weighs on you with every step. There is a loneliness in betrayal, a kind of solitude that not even the presence of others can erase, because no matter how many people surround you, you still feel the void left by those who turn their backs on you. You feel it in the quiet moments when you remember the times they stood by you, the times you laughed together, the times you believed that nothing could break the bond you shared, and then reality sets in. They were never who you thought they were. The love you thought was unshakable was fragile all along, and you are left questioning everything. But the hardest part is not just the pain of betrayal itself. It is the struggle to move forward. How do you rebuild your trust in people when those who were supposed to be your safe place became the source of your deepest wounds? How do you stop the bitterness from taking root in your heart? Because that is the true danger of betrayal. It does not just wound, it changes you. It tempts you to become hardened, to close off your heart, to believe that love is nothing but an illusion. And yet, despite everything, despite the betrayal, the heartbreak, the devastation, you are still here, you are still standing. That in itself is proof that they did not break you, no matter how hard they tried. Because betrayal may wound the heart, but it does not have to define it. You were never meant to be consumed by the actions of others. You were never meant to carry the burden of their choices. Perhaps you have spent nights weeping over their betrayal, crying out in frustration, begging for answers that never seem to come. Perhaps you have pleaded with God, asking why He allowed such pain into your life, why He permitted the very people you loved to hurt you in ways you never imagined. But hear me, God is not blind to your suffering. He is not indifferent to your pain. He knows every tear you have shed. He has seen every moment of heartbreak, and He knows the depth of the betrayal you have endured. If you feel unseen, abandoned, forgotten, know this: you are none of those things. The ones who betrayed you may have cast you aside, but God has not. The ones who hurt you may have moved on, but God has not forgotten what they did. You do not have to carry this pain alone. You do not have to let it consume you. The betrayal may have cut deep, but it does not have the final say, because there is something far greater than betrayal, something stronger than pain, and that is the hand of God, reaching out to lift you from the sorrow that tries to drown you. You have a choice. You can allow their betrayal to define the rest of your life. You can let the bitterness take root, poisoning every relationship, every hope, every dream. Or you can surrender it. You can release it into the hands of the one who sees all things, who rights all wrongs, who restores what was broken. You may not be able to change what was done to you, but you can decide what comes next. And what comes next is not more pain. It is not more heartbreak. What comes next is healing, strength, the kind of peace that only comes when you stop carrying the weight of betrayal on your own, when you give it to God, because only He can take the broken pieces of your heart and turn them into something whole again. Let them go, let the pain go, give it to Him, and watch what He does. God sees everything, and nothing goes unnoticed. When betrayal strikes, it feels like the whole world has turned a blind eye. You look around and wonder, does anyone see what has happened? Does anyone care? The people who hurt you walk freely, carrying no shame, no regret, as if their actions had no consequences, and you are left in the wreckage, piecing yourself back together, wondering how justice could be so absent, how fairness could be so elusive. You see them smiling, moving on with their lives as if nothing happened. They go about their days unbothered, untouched by the devastation they left in their wake. And deep inside, something in you aches, not just from the pain of betrayal itself, but from the unbearable silence that follows. The silence of justice, the silence of accountability, the silence that makes you wonder if God has turned His face away, if He has left you to bear this burden alone. But do not be deceived. God has seen it all. Not a single word spoken against you has escaped His ears. Not a single action that harmed you has gone unnoticed. The lies, the deceit, the manipulation, it has all been recorded in the eyes of the one who never sleeps, the one who watches over every single life. And though it may seem that the wicked prosper, though it may feel like those who wronged you have escaped judgment, do not be fooled. No one outruns the justice of God. It is a dangerous illusion, the belief that one can sin against another and never face the consequences. For a time it may seem that the betrayers thrive, that they continue on their way unaffected, untouched. But there is a law written into the very fabric of creation, a law that no man can escape, the law of divine justice. What is done in darkness will always be brought to light. What is hidden will always be revealed. No betrayal, no deception, no cruelty goes unanswered forever. Perhaps you have asked yourself, why has God not acted yet? Why has He not intervened, struck them down, shown them the error of their ways? Why does He allow them to continue walking freely while you struggle under the weight of their actions? But God does not operate on human timelines. He is not bound by the urgency of your pain, nor is He rushed by the ticking of earthly clocks. His justice moves with precision, with wisdom, with an understanding beyond what we can grasp. And in His perfect time, those who have done wrong will reap what they have sown. Not in the way you imagine, not in the way you may wish, but in the way that ensures no injustice is left unanswered. Remember, God does not just see the actions of man, He sees the heart. He knows the motives behind every word, the intentions behind every deed. And those who have betrayed you have not only wronged you, but they have sinned against God Himself. They may have thought they were clever, that their schemes were unnoticed, that they could twist the truth and escape accountability, but they have forgotten that God is the witness to all things. They have forgotten that the one who created the universe is also the one who weighs the hearts of men. So do not waste your energy trying to expose them, trying to force justice with your own hands. Do not let the desire for revenge consume your thoughts, stealing your peace and poisoning your spirit. It is not your burden to carry. You are not the judge. You are not the executioner. The throne of judgment belongs to God alone, and he will not leave any wrongdoing unpunished. Your pain has been heard, your suffering has been acknowledged. Every tear you have shed in secret has been counted, stored, treasured by the one who sees beyond appearances, beyond lies, beyond human facades. You may feel invisible, but you are not forgotten. You may feel abandoned, but you are not alone. And what of those who have wronged you? What happens to them? You may never see it firsthand. You may never witness the full weight of God's justice upon them, but rest assured, it is coming. Whether in this life or the next, they will come face to face with the reality of their actions, and when that day arrives, when they stand before the one who sees all, there will be no excuses, no justifications, no way to escape the truth. God's justice is not like human justice. It is not limited, it is not flawed, it does not leave room for corruption or deceit. It is absolute, perfect, unstoppable. It moves in ways beyond our understanding, in ways that often do not align with our expectations. But that does not mean it is absent. That does not mean it is weak. It simply means that God is working in ways we cannot yet see. Think of the great injustices throughout history. For a time, the wicked seemed to rule, the righteous seemed to suffer, and darkness seemed to triumph. But in the end, every kingdom built on deceit crumbled. Every throne established by betrayal fell, and every man who thought himself untouchable eventually stood before the weight of divine judgment. And so it will be with those who betrayed you. The justice of God is not always immediate, but it is always certain. He is not blind to what they did. He is not indifferent to your pain, and he will not allow them to escape the consequences of their actions. So rest in that truth. Hold on to it when doubt creeps in, when anger tempts you, when despair whispers that justice will never come. It will come, because God is faithful, because God is just, because God is just, because God sees everything, and nothing goes unnoticed. So leave it in his hands. Let him carry the weight of justice. Let him deal with those who have wronged you, and free yourself from the burden of vengeance, from the prison of resentment, because justice will come, and when it does, it will be far greater, far more powerful, and far more complete than anything you could ever bring about on your own. Vengeance is a heavy burden. Let it go. When betrayal strikes, the heart cries out for justice. You replay the moments of deception, the words that cut you, the actions that tore apart your trust. You feel the weight of their betrayal pressing upon your chest, making it hard to breathe. And somewhere deep inside, a fire burns. A desire to make them feel what they made you feel, to show them the pain they inflicted, to see them suffer in the way they made you suffer. It is a natural response. After all, is it not fair? Should they not be forced to reap what they have sown? Should they not pay the price for the hurt they caused? You want them to know what it feels like to be abandoned, to be used, to be cast aside. You want them to wake up one day and realize what they have lost, to be haunted by regret, to feel the sharp sting of betrayal themselves. But here is the truth. Vengeance is not justice. It is a weight too heavy for the human soul to bear. Revenge is a thief. It steals your peace. It consumes your thoughts. It poisons your spirit. It keeps you chained to the very people who hurt you, binding you to their actions, making their betrayal a constant shadow in your life. The more you dwell on them, the more power you give them over your heart, and what begins as a desire for justice turns into a prison of bitterness. You see, revenge does not heal. It does not restore what was lost. It does not undo the betrayal or erase the wounds. It only deepens them. It takes a heart already wounded and fills it with anger, resentment, and darkness. And in the end, it does not punish them, it punishes you. But there is a better way, a higher way. A way that does not enslave you to your pain, but frees you from it. Let it go, not because they deserve forgiveness, not because what they did was acceptable, but because you deserve peace. It is not your job to balance the scales. It is not your responsibility to make them suffer. That burden does not belong to you. It belongs to God. He is the judge, not you. He is the one who repays, not you. And his justice is far greater, far more complete than anything you could ever orchestrate. There is a reason why God tells us, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," because he knows what we do not. Vengeance in human hands leads only to destruction. It turns good hearts cold, it blinds the soul, it transforms the wounded into the very thing they once despised. It is a poison that slowly seeps into every part of your being until you can no longer recognize yourself. Think about it. How many people have spent their lives consumed by a grudge, only to realize too late that their bitterness stole years of joy? How many have wasted their energy plotting revenge, only to find that it left them feeling emptier than before? How many have let hatred control them, shaping their actions, dictating their emotions, making them prisoners of the past? You are not meant to live that way. You are not created to carry such a heavy burden. God has called you to something higher, freedom. Freedom from the pain they caused, freedom from the desire to make them suffer, freedom from the weight of bitterness. Letting go does not mean you are excusing their actions. It does not mean you are pretending the betrayal did not happen. It simply means you are choosing to trust God to handle what you cannot. It means you are placing the matter in the hands of the only one who sees everything, who knows every hidden motive, who understands justice in a way we never could. And when you do that, when you truly release it to him, you will find something you never expected. Peace. A peace that surpasses understanding. A peace that no betrayal can steal. A peace that no act of vengeance can bring. Because here is the truth. The moment you decide to let go, the moment you surrender the burden to God, you are no longer a victim. You are no longer controlled by what they did. You rise above it. You reclaim your power. You walk forward, unshackled, unbound, free. And as for them, do not think for a second that they will escape justice. No one outruns the consequences of their actions. No one deceives God. The same hands that formed the universe are the same hands that hold your cause. And in his perfect time, in his perfect way, he will deal with them. Not in the way you imagined, but in the way that is right. So why hold on? Why let them have any more of your energy, your emotions, your life? They have already taken enough. Do not give them your future as well. Choose peace, choose freedom, let it go, and watch how God fights for you. It is easy to believe that it does. When someone you love and trust turns against you, it shakes your very identity. You question everything. Your worth, your choices, your ability to judge character. The betrayal was not just an action against you. It was a statement, a declaration that they did not value you enough to remain loyal, to be truthful, to uphold the bond you thought was unbreakable. And that realization cuts deeper than the betrayal itself. You replay their words, their actions, over and over in your mind, wondering what you could have done differently. Did you trust too easily? Did you overlook the signs? Did you love too deeply, give too freely? The questions torment you because you want to make sense of something senseless. You want to find the missing piece, the reason why they did what they did. But the truth is, some betrayals are not about you at all. Some betrayals are about their weakness, their selfishness, their inability to be who they pretended to be. Some betrayals are the result of people who never valued loyalty in the first place, who never had the capacity to love you the way you loved them. And yet here you are, carrying the weight of their actions, as if their betrayal is a reflection of your worth. But hear me now. Their actions do not define you. Their choice to betray you does not determine who you are. You are not unworthy because they failed to see your worth. You are not weak because they took advantage of your kindness. You are not a fool because you trusted someone who was undeserving. Your identity is not wrapped up in the way they treated you. You are not their betrayal. You are not their deception. You are more than the pain they caused. People will always reveal who they are through their actions. A liar will lie, a deceiver will deceive, a betrayer will betray. But just because someone failed you does not mean you are a failure. Just because someone discarded you does not mean you are disposable. What they did is a reflection of them, not. But the real danger of betrayal is not just the pain. It is the aftermath. It is what it tries to do to you. Betrayal whispers lies in your ear. It tells you that you are not good enough, that you are not strong enough, that you are not worthy of loyalty or love. It makes you afraid to trust again, afraid to open your heart, afraid to believe that good people still exist. And if you are not careful, betrayal will not just be something that happened to you, it will become something that changes you. It will harden your heart, making you cold, distant, unwilling to connect. It will build walls so high that no one can reach you. It will make you suspicious, making you see betrayal even where it does not exist. It will convince you that love is a risk not worth taking, that relationships are nothing but inevitable disappointments. But you cannot let betrayal define your future. You cannot let their deception shape the person you become, because if you do, they win. They may have stolen your trust, but do not let them steal your joy. They may have broken your heart, but do not let them break your spirit. There is something more powerful than betrayal, something that no amount of deception can destroy: your ability to rise above it, to keep your heart pure even after it has been wounded, to continue believing in goodness even when you have seen the worst in people, to remain kind even when the world has given you every reason to be bitter. That is true strength. Not shutting yourself off, not seeking revenge, not letting their betrayal turn you into someone you are not, but standing firm in who you are, refusing to let their actions dictate your identity, refusing to let their brokenness break you. And here is the truth. God knows exactly who you are. He knows your heart, your intentions, your worth. He saw every time you were honest, every time you were loyal, every time you gave love freely. And he also saw every time they deceived you, every time they betrayed you, every time they chose selfishness over integrity. And he will not let their actions define your story. He will not let their betrayal be the end of your journey. He is the one who restores, who lifts up the broken-hearted, who turns mourning into joy. And though you may not see it now, though the pain may still be fresh, there will come a day when you look back and realize that their betrayal did not destroy you. It refined you. It made you stronger, wiser, more discerning. It shaped you, but it did not break you. And when that day comes, you will see the truth. You were never defined by their actions. you were always more. And you still are. God will repay in His own way and time. But God's ways are not our ways. His justice does not always come in the way we expect. It does not always come when we demand it. But it does come. Every person must reap what they have sown. It is an unshakable truth. It may take days, months, or even years, but no one escapes the consequences of their actions. You see, God is not just interested in punishing wrongdoing. He is interested in perfect justice, the kind of justice that goes beyond a simple act of retribution, the kind of justice that brings about true understanding, true regret, true change. Sometimes He allows people to prosper for a season, giving them time to repent. Sometimes He lets them climb high so that when they fall so far that they have no choice but to acknowledge what they have done. And sometimes His justice does not come in a way that can be seen with human eyes, but it comes in the deepest parts of their souls. Have you ever noticed how people who do wrong often seem to have everything, yet their lives are empty? They smile in public but wrestle with guilt in private. They build their success on deception, but it never brings them true peace. They may act as if nothing has happened, but inside they are tormented. Their relationships fall apart, their inner world crumbles, and the very things they thought they had gained slip through their fingers. God's justice is precise. He knows exactly where to strike. He knows how to bring people face to face with the reality of their choices, and He knows when to do it. But here is the hardest part. You may never see it. You may never get the satisfaction of witnessing their downfall, their regret, their suffering. You may never get an apology, never hear them admit their guilt, never see them acknowledge the pain they caused. And that is where trust comes in. You must trust that God is handling it, even when you do not see the outcome. Because the truth is, you do not need to see it. You do not need to waste your energy wondering when or how it will happen. That is not your burden to carry. Your focus should not be on their downfall, it should be on your healing. You have already lost too much time grieving their betrayal. Do not lose more time waiting for their punishment. Let God handle it. There is a freedom that comes when you truly believe that God will repay, when you stop trying to force justice on your own, when you release the need to see them suffer and instead place everything in God's hands. It lifts the weight off your shoulders. It allows you to walk forward without resentment. It frees you from the chains of anger. You were not meant to carry the burden of justice. That is God's role, and He never fails, He never overlooks, He never forgets. The people who wronged you will face what they have done, not because you will make it happen, but because God will. And while He is handling them, He is also restoring you. He is healing what they broke. He is replacing what they stole. He is lifting you above the pain they caused. What they meant for harm, He is turning for good. What they tried to destroy, He is rebuilding stronger than before. So leave them in God's hands. Walk forward in faith. Trust that justice is coming, even if you never see it. And focus not on their fate, but on your future, because it is far greater than anything they try to take from you. When you give it to God, you gain true peace. There is a certain exhaustion that comes with carrying pain. It is not just the betrayal itself, but the weight of it. The endless replaying of events in your mind, the questioning, the anger, the resentment. It lingers, follows you, settles deep in your heart where it refuses to let go. And the longer you hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. You tell yourself you are fine, that time will heal it, that eventually you will stop thinking about it. But then something reminds you, a familiar place, a stray thought, a sudden memory, and suddenly it is as if the wound has been torn open again. You feel the anger, the sadness, the bitterness creeping back in, and so the cycle continues. You bury it, you ignore it, you tell yourself it does not matter. But deep down you know it does. This is what happens when we try to carry our burdens alone. When we hold on to them as if we are the ones responsible for making things right. But we were never meant to bear such weight. That is why it crushes us, why it steals our peace, why it drains our spirit. We were not created to live with bitterness in our hearts. We were not meant to walk through life carrying the burden of revenge, of resentment, of waiting for justice to come on our terms. But there is another way, a better way, a way that frees you from the prison of your own pain. Give it to God. That is easier said than done, is it not? Because surrendering something to God means trusting Him completely. It means letting go of the need for closure, for revenge, for an apology that may never come. It means handing over the pain, not knowing exactly how or when God will bring justice. And that is difficult, because deep inside, you want control. You want to know that they will pay for what they did. You want to see the scales balanced before your eyes. But that is the thing about true peace. It is not found in controlling outcomes. It is not found in making sure your betrayers suffer. It is found in releasing it into God's hands, knowing that He is far more capable of handling it than you ever could. When you truly give it to God, something happens inside of you. The anger that once consumed you begins to fade. The bitterness that clouded your mind begins to lift. The thoughts that once tormented you begin to lose their power, and in their place, something unexpected appears. Peace. A peace that does not make sense, a peace that defies logic, a peace that comes not from the absence of pain, but from the presence of trust. You see, peace is not about forgetting what happened. It is not about pretending that the betrayal did not hurt. It is about no longer letting it have power over you. When you surrender your pain to God, you are saying, I refuse to let this define me. I refuse to let this control me. I refuse to let their actions steal one more moment of my joy. And that is the kind of peace the world cannot offer. Because the world tells you that peace comes when justice is served, when the ones who hurt you finally suffer. But God's peace is different. It comes before justice is served. It comes even if you never see their downfall, even if they never apologize, even if life seems to move forward without the closure you thought you needed. It comes because your trust is no longer in human justice, but in divine justice. And divine justice never fails. Think of all the energy you have spent carrying this pain, the sleepless nights, the thoughts that steal your joy, the way it affects your heart, your relationships, your ability to move forward. Now, imagine what life would be like without that weight. Imagine waking up and no longer feeling the heaviness in your chest. Imagine being able to laugh again, to love again, to trust again. Imagine being free. That is what happens when you let go. When you stop clutching onto the pain as if it is part of who you are. When you stop waiting for the perfect moment of justice and instead trust that God is already handling it. You step into a kind of peace that no betrayal can steal. And here is the most beautiful part. When you surrender your pain, God does not just take it, He replaces it. He gives you something better. He gives you healing. He gives you restoration. He gives you the strength to walk forward, not as someone who was broken, but as someone who is refined. Someone who has seen pain but did not let it define them. Someone who has experienced betrayal but did not let it harden them. Someone who has faced injustice but chose to trust God anyway. And that is the kind of strength that no betrayer can take from you. That is the kind of peace that does not come from this world, but from the one who holds it all in his hands. So why hold on any longer? Why carry a weight that was never meant for you? Let it go, give it to God, and watch how he replaces your pain with a peace that cannot be shaken.